Good evening, all. We like to welcome you, each and every one of you, to another episode or another segment of Sisters in the Sandbox on this evening. I'm going to put my disclaimer out there as I always do. These are our views and our perspective on the matter from our experiences. Um, we welcome all feedback, whatever it is that you experience, good, bad, ugly, and different. We respect everybody's opinion and their perspectives. So, again, do not hold it against us. But these are just basically according to what we experience. And again, we welcome anything that you have to say up here on Sisters in the Sandbox. So, we're going to get scooping it up in the sandbox. And on tonight's topic, I decided to choose to talk about, for the most part, gender roles in relationships because there's a lot of things that has changed and dynamics that has changed within our society. And for the most part, there's expectations that I think are placed on us as whether be it male or female, and some can view it as sexism or discrimination. So basically, hey guys, hey everybody that's watching, good evening, welcome all that's coming in. We basically are talking about gender roles and relationships and getting your perspective on the matter and the different experiences that you might have experienced. It's going to come from different perspectives because we're going to be dealing with, like I said, some might view it as sexism. You know how they say, whatever you do, I can do better when it comes to like the male versus the female, as far as equality. Hey guys. And whether or not is it the new norm, or is it normal, or should we be following those expected expectation of what society says we should be or do as our genders, or having a gender identity. And basically, I just wanted to break down what gender roles or stereotypes are. And basically, it states that our society has a set of ideas about how we're to expect men and women to dress, behave, and present themselves. So we're gonna get scooping up in the sandbox, talking about what are the gender roles. Sis. Hey, sis. Hey. So basically, the main thing I want to elaborate on when coming to this is because there's more. How can I say? As people are calling them now, guys that are like moms, and they call them Mr. Mom. And you have more women who are more independent and self-reliant and say that they don't need a man. And then you have those, like, when they're in a relationship, it's like hard to say where would they allow that person, what roles where they actually fit within that relationship. Like, what is the boundaries? What is their identity within that relationship, as whether it be a male or female? Because you can be hyper masculine or hyper feminine. So sometimes I feel like sometimes the roles gets reversed at times because we both carry the male and female. What we have a sense of masculinity. Like, you have some females who have more hyper. They're more hyper masculine because they carry, because society's okay. Put it this way: society kind of looks at it as if though, okay, say with the males, they're supposed to be strong, aggressive. That's the norm. That's exactly stereotype as the norm. Exactly. As if though that the female can't carry that trait or possess that quality. So they talk about equality, and that's why I think that's where the sexism comes in.
Trey, this is a great topic.
Hey, yes. And so therefore you have some people who view those that are of a male perspective and are at home being what most feminists would do, taking care of the home, babysitting and all that type of stuff, or doing the cooking. So it's like, then sometimes I feel like it's a cross, because then some males get upset because they feel like the women are being too masculine and that like they don't need a man. And then the females feel like they're not doing enough and they have no other choice but to be independent. But it's a difference between being independent and not relying on a male versus, being independent, self-reliant, and doing all that's needed. Because it's basically saying that we can do what y'all do, but we can do it better. As if to say, we don't need the help at all. But that's, I mean,
I think it all depends on the couple and their relationship. If they have an understanding of who's doing what, if the man is definitely confident in his position and who he is, and he allows his, I'm gonna say allow because it's not like allow, but you know what I mean, he supports his wife, significant other, spouse to, you know, help her be great, to help her.
So, oh, I'm all boy. You know what, Jones, don't start it. So
I mean, long. I think that if there is a clear understanding, when two people meet, of course you find out each other's goals, what you want to do, what you want to do. You know, some people have personality A, which is very strong, independent, very, you know. Then you have personality B, where they're kind of, you know, passive aggressive and, you know, not direct with their approach of things. Kind of, I'm not gonna say lackadaisical, but kind of procrastinating. You know, but either way, I'm gonna say this: if you go into a relationship and you find that out about each other, some men don't want their women or their woman to be self-sufficient or self-reliant. They want someone that they'll be able to depend on them.
So that's what I'm saying. So
I mean, it's
what
just
about in a
all
relationship
about
where you have somebody who is with the expectation that's been set before now? Most men are brought up to believe the expectation is that they're the providers, the protectors, the aggressors. They do the like home repairs and all that type of stuff. But if we as women, if we're being independent, a lot of us are doing self-love.
What are you doing?
There was a lot of things we're gonna have to learn for ourselves. Like,
you have to come over here because they can't see you with the white strip, love.
But Aretha said she played many roles.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't have a male in the home, that's it right there. If you don't have that male in the home, you have a lot of, like I said, a lot of women who are independent. I mean, it goes all the way back to time where, you know, division during slavery. There's a lot of things that the women had to take on to keep the home going. Outside of being emotionally strong, we had to be physically strong. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like
you said outside of slavery. You said slavery
during the slave times when they were sold into slavery, if they was gone and it was the division. Then, like if they were in the home, there was a lot of things that the female actually had to learn how to do to be able to rely. We was not only emotionally strong, but we had to be physically strong as well to be able to run and control the home. Because it's even the stereotype, far as the expectations and the gender role, that only the women can be nurturers or can do domestic stuff and within the home and stuff. But you have some men who actually are good at doing that.
I think now that the most people, especially like myself, like to be equally yoked.
And that's what we strive for. And that's the whole thing.
Tina said being too independent sometimes make a man feel
exactly. And that's the point I'm trying to get to. Sometimes we can actually, I feel like if you become too independent, you can push away a possible mate that can be for you, that can help you equally. That's why I always preach about reciprocation. So
I think when it comes to that, I will say this. I will say this, that a lot of men, and I'm not saying all, but some men definitely need to step up to their positions. And I think that's why some women feel the way they feel.
Go ahead, I'll do it. Questions.
They feel the way they feel because if men were in the position of a leadership role, they wouldn't have to take on all these positions.
Okay, Mr. Davis said that's why women always say, don't go up. What you did for me, that's...
Say what?
You all had to clarify that for me, Donald. I'm sorry. We didn't quite understand what you're saying there or what you're trying to convey. Those women don't have a man, but that rose thing. Oh my God, Tina, don't get started tonight, girl. You starting early. She said everybody got their rose. But that's the thing. It's like everybody has become...
Mom said most men feel intimidated by the woman. And then he said, I meant to say, don't throw up in my face what you do for me.
Okay, like okay, males, chime in. Do y'all have a problem with the women throwing things up in y'all guys' face to make y'all feel intimidated when it comes to y'all doing things?
Well, that's
because I think
versa.
But we all carry a trait of the masculinity and the feminine. Like if you're becoming so independent, I feel like we will have a tendency to push away when we actually. I think we so set on I don't need a man to do anything for me. I can grab my bag on my own. That we can push away because we've been hurt so much.
Yeah,
that we feel like we could just do it by, like I say, I could do bad all by myself. Yes, work,
but that's a cry for that definitely is a cry for help, because I mean no matter how strong a woman feel and think and believe that she is, I do believe that she needs that.
My aunt wants to join this live. I forgot how we add people. Go ahead.
You can go to YouTube.
No matter how strong a woman thinks that or believe that she is, you know what I mean, in a regular relationship, in a traditional relationship, I'm talking about traditional relationships right now, then yeah, she has been hurt. She has seen something in her childhood maybe that caused her to lean towards, well, I'm gonna be independent. I'm not gonna need nobody. I'm not gonna need a man. I'm not gonna this because I seen this happen. I seen that happen.
Or they don't want to tolerate the stuff that comes with it, or the games, or we're so guarded. Like even myself, when I was there, I was just stuff that you have to hear about. But at the same time, if you know that I would say, like, if you go back to the expectation of what they say the stereotype is of the traditional aspect of the gender roles and within a relationship, I want to be able to feel, that person will be there for me. But that's not just monetary wise, but they're talking about even things done in the home. I don't want it to be seen like I should be intimidating to my mate if I might be able to do something that he can't do. Say he's fixing a water heater, put a water heater in, or install something in the ice machine. Like, if you carry a trait or a task that can help be beneficial to the home, that's a plus in my book.
Okay, I'm gonna interject, take questions or comments, please. Trey said, if she makes 10 times more than me, I'm cook, clean, etc. And he said yes. Hold up. Yes. Aretha said, but you have some men that tries to come in and take your independence away. But wait a minute. Let me get some of these comments out.
Go ahead.
Tina said, absolutely. Mr. Davis said, I can do good by myself. Also, Tina also said, why be in a relationship? The expectations are too high and
that no man will be able to fit. And that is something that we have to be careful with, answering some of these questions. And like you said, I think that's even a threat about when it comes to the gender roles. It's said as if though the male would have more of the higher paying job, or whoever. Most times some people feel like, because I make more and I bring home CLJ the thing, then they expect that person to cook it. Like he's like, if I fry it, cook it, if I bring home the bacon,
you should be able to fry it.
Whatever it is, cook it, clean. So it's like, I feel, hey guys, good evening. So I'm feeling like, if it's a thing, it's like, if somebody take out the trash, I'm not exempt for taking out trash just because we feel like it's a man's thing. I mean, the thing is knowing your position, knowing what your value, your worth is. And my thing is, it shouldn't even depend on who makes more and who makes less.
A woman will. Let me just put this out there, especially for white collar, blue collar. Like, a woman will never, regardless of what, will never make as much as a man will make. Period. In the same position, it's not going to happen. It's. I mean, we have women's right, women's suffrage, women vote, white women's 19th Amendment. What was that? 1918. Like. Yes, we have come a long way. Women has come a long way, but trust me, I mean, society's norm, I do not think it's going to change as far as if a woman and a man is in the same position, have the same position, a man is going to always make 2 times double.
And see, that's why we always fought for equality, like the equality, to say that we can pretty much do just as much as what they can do, or bring to the table just as much as what they can bring to the table. Now, by strength wise, I will say power and strength. To me, I feel that naturally the men, just by default, to me, I feel are more more strength and power with them.
Let's interject with some comments and questions or whatever.
Go ahead.
Mr. Jones said, does it matter who makes more? Hold on.
Okay, and then Mr. Eugene said, we can talk later. Okay, it's not that you have not have a man in the family. It was in her or his dreams from the first. So it's not like y'all should just go with it and respect her wishes. And this is from someone with experience that had to go through hell, not early life. I'm Lula Harmon, the aunt. Oh, okay, so that's coming from the woman's thing. The man's supposed to take care of the woman. She brings life.
The black woman is God made the second to woman.
The black woman is God, man the second to woman. I'm not sure what that means or what you're trying to express there. And far as like what it makes, I don't think it should have.
Woman is God, man the second to woman.
I guess.
I'm thinking this how this.
But to me, I don't feel like when it comes to the financial aspect of it, whoever makes more doesn't mean that person has more power. And I sometimes think that sometimes people look at it that way. Oh, I'm the one with the more, bring in more financially, that I have more financial say as what we do or how we think. It still should be equal as to where these funds are distributed, where they are, allocated for. You still got to come together and work together. Just because one person makes more than the other, I mean, quite naturally, sometimes you're going to come into a relationship where one makes more than the other. Does that mean I have nothing to value or no worth, or I don't have anything to offer? No, that's not going to dismiss me. That's not going to make me feel any less than or make me less than.
That's so biblical. They take care of each other.
Yeah, like just because you make a certain amount of money, I mean, let's come on now.
But I can understand. I mean, sometimes you do have women out here, and it's not all women, but you do have women out here. They are perfectly fine to being home and being, domesticated.
Domesticated, yeah, because you do have
perfectly fine with doing that. That's what they choose to do. That's what they choose to do. You know what I mean? But then you also have women that are very educated, and they go into the roles as once they have children. Then they have to become domesticated, where they both,
because they're the nurturers, and like he said, bring life.
Right.
They're as we are seen as the nurturers, more of the nurturers. But who's to say that the men can't carry the same trait?
Tanisha said it's 50-50 all the way around. Financially, household chores,
compromises, etc. And that's what I'm saying. We have to get to a point where we're equal. Like, I don't want to just be left to say that it's just me who cooks in the house, or it's just me who takes out the trash, or if it's just me who paid the bills. Like, what?
Go ahead, because you had. Go ahead,
sissy.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna make a statement. I have to intervene, because I'm gonna put it like this. I'm on, again, both sides of the coin. I've been that person where I was also dependent. I don't need no man and blase. But what I'm gonna tell you now, my husband is an alpha. And when I say an alpha man, he's an alpha man. He's that man, like, I'll bring home the bacon. And yes, he makes a whole lot more than I do. Am I mad with that? No. But my thing is, I am the nurturer. I am the one that, the kids come to. I am, because we know our roles. But sometimes I feel that, like, he don't mind me because I want my own money, because I'm not good all the time with money. I'm not going to lie.
But it's good when you can acknowledge that, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like, but I am going to say this. Like, he wouldn't mind me staying home, but then he would mind, it's like, he wants me to also help, like Tanisha said, that 50
financially as well.
So help take care, the house financially, meet me halfway.
But also do the domestic stuff within the home.
Yes. So, yeah.
And Abdul said, good evening, ladies. My thing is this.
Good evening.
that when a man or woman is hurt in a past relationship, they feel that all will treat them the same. How can you grow if you keep living on the past things? How can you heal and grow? We talked about that. Like, you can everybody, like you and I had to experience. Like, everybody is not the same. Everybody's views. I mean, because the thing I think we all kind of prided ourselves is on the fact that my mom and dad, they reared us to be, you know, working women, also nurturers. So we kind of try to have that balance in a sense. Like I said, everything, you know, you got to have balance.
Allow them mentally.
But yes, like to be there emotionally, you know, mentally, spiritually, financially. Like for myself, and I'm sure I'm speaking for all of us because I think we're pretty much the same. It doesn't matter to us the type of money you make. To me, is if you're making me happy, the trust, the loyalty, the communication, your integrity after you're out of the home. Like, the added benefits is you providing for me the things that I need. But at the same time, I need you to know that I can do that. But when you sit there, some men pride themselves on being givers. When, hey, baby girl, when we're not knocking it, but that's not the only value that's within you, which we're, you know what I mean, which Mom I feel should be reciprocated.
Men like to dictate. What did she say?
What did Mom say?
About dictating.
I don't see it on here. The man should be worshiping the woman, the women worshiping. The men should be worshiping the women's worshiping. LOL.
What?
The man should be worshiping the women's worshiping. I'm not sure what we're saying there, but and yes, 2 is better than 1. That's why I said what I was sharing. Like, within the gender roles, I feel like it could be equally shared across the board. I think it's something that we both can do equally, so that it doesn't become overwhelming. Because sometimes the guy is so hell bent on being the provider that soon they don't have something, and then they are so set to providing something that, you know how they say, like, a lot of times for a certain lifestyle, and soon you say no to the female, and then they get mad because we'll get an attitude. But you done provided a certain lifestyle for us, and now you will get mad if we get mad with you, and then y'all feel overwhelmed, and then you shut down because then now you can't provide. Like, just be upfront in the beginning. Like, that's why I said,
wait a minute, hold up, because that can go on other the shoe can go on other feet with that. Because just like the men can say that, you know what I mean, when they met you, you was a certain size, looked a certain way, and then, you know, you had the kids and you don't get snatched back, and then you're a whole different person.
Well,
so if we get mad because they don't make the same it's the same type of money, isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, that's that expectation.
That's an example. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's true.
I'm just saying.
We said we was brought up the same way, but you have some men who don't know how to don't know how to be emotionally evolved because they haven't been taught, which is true. Which I said, it goes back to the gender role. They taught to be more providers and the aggressives, the aggressor. Alpha. And Terrell says, T says, hey, sisters, I love you dearly. We love you too. I think you just make the best of love since it's naturally unpredictable. Since after you've learned each other enough, things usually become easier. Different strokes. Yes.
Somebody said, I think that's completely different.
That's Kennedy. Sabriza. She said, no, I think that's completely different.
I don't know how. Because if something changed in your family dynamics, this is going to interrupt the pattern. So something's going to change. It's no longer the same. So you have a baby,
based it on appearances.
It's not. I'm not going to say it's.
We're expected to look a certain way. Can makeup be dooed up? Because that's
some women do that. And they do it on a regular basis. I
want it from a man too. Like, we expect
exactly
still well groomed
but all I was saying is, for an example, if y'all expecting the man to make the same amount of money when y'all met and got married, I mean, that would be the same example as he expected y'all to look the same.
Well, I guess so, but then I don't know, because like when my husband was down and laid off, I did, I gave him a certain amount of time, and I was like,
You gave him a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I was like, when you gonna get out there and go back to work? Like, yeah, I did. It was a certain amount of time. But now with him, with me, he'll say whatever comes out of his mouth because we're older and we're growing old together in a marriage. So he'll say whatever he feels to me, like, you let yourself go. He'll say that quick. He will say, and I was like, well, you do the same thing. You let yourself go. I'm like, you don't get dressed up for me. Like, no, you don't. So whatever you doing to me, whatever you doing to me goes back to you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't just tell, the man can't just tell you. The man can't just tell you and like point the finger and tell you and dictate to you, but you got to say something to them.
Kennedy said, yeah, I see what you're saying. If they expect that, then he can expect her to look the same. But that's the whole thing. I'm just dynamics can kind of change.
Listening to anything I said because my mom is just being an extra.
She rattling a whole lot of stuff. But that's the thing. Like, it goes back to expectations too, as well. Within those gender roles. Like,
he said, big sis, you gave that man a deadline. I did. He alpha,
but that's the whole thing I think for is encouraging. But it's a way to do it.
Yes, it is.
But I feel it's a way
because like, you don't. If a man's home don't like it,
I don't.
So why would you?
I don't.
But my thing is, it's a way to encourage a man. If
exactly.
It's one thing if you're just sitting on the couch and you're not even contributing nothing towards finances, the home, and all that. To me, that's lack of motivation. My thing is, we're supposed to encourage and inspire.
Well, I was motivating.
That's nurturing.
Well, I did that
not
too.
Not give him a deadline because you know for a fact that if that was you wouldn't.
He done did that. But then again, he likes. Yeah, and he'll say that. He will say that. He was like, when I was there, you told me get out there and hit the pavement, and I'm like, I did. I did. I did. But with me, I know my husband, like I said, I know my husband is that alpha male and he'll be like, I got you. But then I don't want him to get overwhelmed either. So when he's coming after me and saying, okay, you got to get a job. All right, I got to get a job. I'll go get that job, but not what job he want me. I'm gonna go get a job to have money in my pocket, but to make sure
some jobs just don't work for you.
Yeah, some jobs just don't work for me. But I'm just saying, like my husband will let me know. That's what I'm saying. We're in a stage now in our life. He gonna tell me.
You're supposed to.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to do the same thing. He says the same thing. If he's telling me, babe, you let yourself go. Babe, you doing the same thing. You telling me I let myself go, but you ain't looking good for me.
But what
don't you think it works?
That goes back to like what Tina was saying, like when you have expectations.
How about looking?
And she just popped up. I just talked her up. She said, I don't work since the virus hit, so my husband picked up. But I pick up holding down the house. See, that's what I'm saying. But you're helping one another.
Y'all getting on me. I'm not. You saying the way I said, but I'm just
the
saying.
Way you say things sometimes.
I know.
That's all I'm saying.
But see, I was just saying back to what you were saying, Tina. I was saying, basically,
no, that's Azalea.
When we had set these expectations. Now, the same way that they place, I mean, you can't sit there and get mad if he place certain expectations on you. If you having a certain expectation, the deadline of having them out there and having a job. The thing is, going into the relationship, I feel like you have to actually be on either the same terms, come to the same agreement in order. I mean, that's how you talk about the things so that you have a common goal, a common, common goal, a common thought of what you're going to do, whatever the situation is, because there are things that happen beyond your control. Somebody can take sick. Somebody, it's just within the family, something needs more attention. So it's like, who's going to be able to balance that? So you got to factor in those circumstances that might, come in and actually change the whole dynamics of the relationship.
You got to understand, all last year, people were either having to be quarantined or they had to take care of their loved ones, family members. And some of jobs, especially healthcare, they did not provide any type of resources, benefits that would, aid the the worker, the employee with that whatsoever. So for those who had to quarantine for 2 weeks at a time, like, and I had to be quarantined twice, neither time did I get COVID, thank the Lord. But, that came out of my pocket.
And see, it affects the whole,
with small businesses, for those who might have like businesses, the man that was providing, he had to be home, and then imagine the wife who's already home. You know what I mean? So I'm quite sure that was like friction going in right there.
I thank God that didn't happen to us.
Yes,
I'm gonna just say I thank God.
Like, I didn't.
Now we did get sick together, but the thing was, through the whole COVID, he still had to work. So I thank God for that. And I was home being that domesticated. And that's why I didn't really fuss with him about, dishes and stuff, because of the fact, like, if he's working, the only thing he got would, I'm not a cooker. He would have to come home and cook.
That's the only thing?
That's the only thing.
You can't do laundry either.
I did laundry, but I don't care if it's shrunk, bleached. I did it.
Yes, you did.
I did it.
Just throw it in there.
But what does it say about what women or men say to each other verbally when it comes to? Because I think sometimes men might get hurt by some of the stuff that women say, and vice versa.
That's what I'm saying.
To make them to pull their manhood, to make them feel that
a woman should never degrade a man. Ever.
And that's how I feel too.
Regardless, you should never degrade a man. Because no matter what, whether he's not working this, or whether he don't have a job, or he might not be stepping up at the time, he will always be a man at the end of the day. The thing is, if you that woman, and you can be a virtuous woman and supportive, a nurturer, I'm trying to tell you, you encourage your man, it will make him feel like he can move mountains.
But sometimes we kind of, I think, with that role of being so independent.
Why you gotta look at me like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And self-reliant. It's not to say that we shouldn't, like, most women are always going to have something put away or have something on the side. For
always having that thing.
And it helps. Yeah, and it helps. But at the same time,
no.
My thing is, I don't want us to get lost. My whole thing, girl, you're crazy. I don't want us to get lost.
You got to have a nest egg. Yes, ma'am.
I don't want us to feel that we should get lost in thinking that we don't need a man. We don't. My thing is, and what I would mean by don't need a man is if they're not being able to bring or offer to the table is pretty much the same thing. Now, if someone is striving and then they like, sometimes you got to be careful with potential as well. But if they're making the actual moves that is needed to better themselves, then I'm going to be there to support and encourage and keep pushing.
T said, we don't get reading.
Speak life into each other goes along. Exactly.
Wait a minute. Terrell said something too about we don't get hurt. I'll probably get hurt.
Yes, and I think that's what I'm saying. Like, then they feel, emasculated. Like, they took their manhood from them. Because then they was like, well, what can I do for this woman? Because she's not making me feel like the man I am.
Exactly.
And we know women, we can be petty with our mouths, and we can say stuff like,
we can be very vindictive.
Yeah, like very malicious. Very, like, you definitely can say.
Are you talking to yourself too?
Yeah,
I know I can. I know I can.
But it's not to say that you might not come across the right person that can actually be on that level in which you need, whether it be emotionally, physically, spiritually, or whatever.
That at all. I'm just not even say anything because I know for a fact.
But do y'all have problems with a person who like prefers to be like a Mr. Mom versus those who's not, like, taking on the domestic part of the like if their woman is the provider? And I mean, do y'all men have a problem with that? Like, do y'all solely pride yourself on being the provider? I mean, if the woman is the one that actually has the education, I mean, it's few and far between, but most times, I mean, it's still out here. That's the whole thing I'm saying. where you have people who actually that are, females who have, the monies, who actually are the breadwinner and all that. And so then that's why I say they have like what they call Mr. Moms, and they take care of the home. She said, I will always encourage my man once he feels like he is not a man at the end of the day. He is going to look at me and our relationship in a whole other light. It's never will for me. It's a never will for me. Exactly. Like you don't want to emasculate their masculinity. So, but we as women, because
trust me, that's when they'll start looking elsewhere. I mean, that's one reason, honestly. Like you can't never.
You really think?
Yeah. Yes, a man he wants to feel needed home. That is like his safe haven.
Which same for the woman too.
You don't want to come home from work and be belittled.
No, I don't.
Because you have the world beating up on them as it is, as enough trying to uphold whatever is going on outside the home. Yeah.
You're trying to be encouraging as much as you can. I mean, sometimes it's going to be times where we're going, our blood pressure is going to be like elevated, where we're like, okay, well, all right, let's move style, get ourselves together, and be an encouragement for him. Because if he's doing well, then we all, as a family, going to do well. So, I mean, sometimes, that's when we got to pray. Like, Lord, please give us the strength. Give us the strength, Lord, to be his helpmeet. Because I'm not going to say it's an easy job or easy task, because it's not.
But that's the thing, even knowing what that is, being a helpmate is. And that's why I said, to me, I feel like when it does come to certain things within the home, that it should be shared equally. Now, quite naturally, I'm not going to be walking around trying to fix on a car and all that unless I went to school for the trade and stuff. But something like within the home with trash, dishes and stuff. Like with my son, I even told my son, I said, babe, let me tell you something. You might be a young man, but I had to tell him, you might be in a position where you're going to be a bachelor until you find that woman for you. You're going to have to know how to do laundry. You're going to have to know how to do dishes. I can't take out the trash and all that type of stuff. So then that way, it's not so much that you have to rely on a woman, but you have to understand that you got to have some type of knowledge to know enough that I'm independent enough that I'm able to do laundry. I'm able to wash the dishes and all that type of stuff. I don't know, because my phone went, what's the name? We as women go through, you have to scroll that back down, go through in the world as well. When we come home, we want that hug, that kiss. That's how your day is, to make us feel like we can fight another day out here. And that's what I'm saying. It's got to be equally
we're not trying to skip y'all comments or whatever. I just can't see them.
But
if you can do it, then.
But that's the thing. It goes both ways. Like, we both have to give each other that support, that love, that understanding, that embrace. And because if you have both parents working in the home, because most times you have to have both people in the home nowadays to be able to afford most of the stuff out here people want you to have. But at the same time, it's freezing. At the same time, it's like, I'm not going to sit here and beat up on them if they fall short in one area. That's like, whatever my strength is and whatever his weakness is should be where his strength is, and vice versa. Like, wherever he might fall short, I can pick up. Wherever I might fall short, he picks up. You know what I mean? That's where it should be. Like, that's how I feel about the whole situation. Oh, it came back up. That's how I feel about it. So
then keep freezing.
So what is your thoughts on that?
All I'm going to say is as far as me myself being by myself, I'll be able to be independent and sustain myself by myself.
Says team.
However, I will say this: it is nothing wrong with if a man comes in and he wants to be in that role as the head of household. I'm allowed him to do that. But of course, I have to trust him in that position because the simple fact is, you know what I mean? I have been in previous relationships where money was, you know, it was the main thing. It was the main focus. Money, 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 money. And it was like I was like relying on him. I mean, I worked, but at the same time relying basically on him. Like if I had some days I would call out of work because I know I didn't have to. But however, now it's like, okay, I can sustain myself by myself. And, you know, if I want to cook, I can. If I don't want to cook, I don't. I mean, just the simple things. But at the same time, at night, of course, you have like a lot of, well, I have a lot of love to give. So, of course, I want that, but I just don't want any old thing either. I want them to bring something to the table as well.
Do you feel like sometimes people in relationships feel like they're in competition? Anybody feels that way, like they're in competition?
I did.
They shouldn't be in competition.
Because I think just knowing different people, I've heard that.
Okay.
Competition for what though?
It wasn't quite a competition. It was like more power struggle for me.
Oh, okay.
It was more of I had to get used to him being an alpha person because I was not saying that I didn't have guys in my life because I did.
But you're an alpha person as well.
Yeah, and I had to really relinquish.
When?
Relinquish what?
Some of my how I feel about my role of being.
But I mean, what
dependent.
Was that? What do you mean?
You know, because like he always, this was his saying. He was like, "Look, we're doing this together. We're doing it together. Mm-hmm. You're not doing it by yourself anymore. You're in a marriage. We're doing it together. You can't keep doing it, you know." Because his saying is, you're always thinking like a single person. Because he has to understand, before he came along, I was a single person. I did have to take care of my kids as a single mom. All three of my children, I didn't care what guy I had, I was still doing all that myself. So regardless, the guys that like I was like independent, I really didn't need you. I'm going to do it. I mean, they hurt me, but I did what I had to do. I mean, you're not going to have me out anymore. You're not doing all of that. So when the husband literally came along, it was hard to like give up.
It interrupted the pattern you
used to. It was hard. And they still can be hard.
I agree. Say yes. I'm glad you said that.
I mean, I'm honest with myself. Yeah. I can check myself. It still can be hard because I'll be like, you know, it's not just being submissive. It's like he's trying to do what's best for me, or not just for me, for the whole household. And I get in my way and I'll be like, no, you're not. You're just saying what you want. Like, that's how I'm thinking. Like, and I'm like, you know, you can do it, whatever. You got this. But yeah, it's hard for me because I've always been that mom that, you know, I was always dependent on myself because I had to push for the kids. And you know what? It's so bad now that my kids are grown, doing their thing, I'm more laid back, like, all right, I let him take care of me because I feel like, okay, I'm gonna get spoiled. But then in other areas, it's like, no, I don't feel like listening. So I'm being honest.
Okay,
I'm being honest
today. And I am so proud of you.
Thank you. But what about people?
Because it's a power struggle. Yes, I mean, it's really a power struggle. Who has the reins? It ain't just about who has the most money. It's just like if you're having two single people that and
they come together
and their way of thinking, their perception, learn it through therapy, like their perception on how raising kids.
That's where communication comes in.
Yes.
This is where I say
totally different
all the time. And what I always will continue to say, that's when if you can't communicate with your partner or try to figure out, like, there a lot of stuff can be eliminated if we communicate. And a lot of us don't know how to effectively communicate what we or express to our mates what it is we feel, what we're thinking. Like even now within in the relationship that I am now, like again, men are more logical, we're more emotional. And we can be arguing about the same thing. Yes, definitely. And the thing is, we're talking about the same thing in two different ways. Because they're going to say is, like, I like this man named Stefan Speaks. Oh, I love him. I love him. Where he says, men are so direct in what they say that we want to go and say, well, what you're saying is, no, it's not what we're saying. It's what it really is. We're telling you what it is. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. You have some women who's the same way, like take it at face value, but we want to interpret it and it's something this. I'm gonna say I'm guilty. I'll say it. Better reread text.
Yes.
Make it more than what it is.
Yeah. Ouch and ouch again.
Yeah. Overanalyzing things, but that's what I mean about learning how to communicate. I am too. Tina said, I agree. Before my husband, I was single with 2 kids, and all I knew to do was work in order to stay afloat. I missed out on so much, and he showed me that it's more in life than just working. Exactly. Like when you find the actual person who can come in and help balance that, right. You be able to
the things stop.
Yes. Talk in a respectful tone to each other in a heated fellowship. I can do that.
No,
I've done that.
I don't think you can, sis. I'm gonna step in and say
I can. Because no, you're not gonna demean me, belittle me.
Nobody has to demean you. You
don't do it.
Very nice, nasty.
But I'm not yelling. I ain't cursing you out. But I ain't yelling at you. Like I carry a nice tone.
That's not a nice tone.
I was told that the way I said it is
nice.
How my daughter said
here.
No, because they all Mr. Jones, all them. They said South saying they was like, Annie, you still say it in a nice way. No, I say it in a nice way, but I'm still gonna make my point. I'm gonna get it across.
It's nice, nasty.
Okay,
I'm just blunt,
and I can be either or, and I can be either or. But I would definitely try to say it in a way. Now, if it's not received the first time, it can go either or. I'm not even gonna lie.
But y'all can get combative real quick though. I don't get
I'm not gonna have a tendency
to What do you mean?
I'm not combative.
What do you mean? How am I being combative?
Yeah, I don't be combative.
Like if you feel like we could get into I witnessed some right out arguments, and then it gets you so hyped to the point you in each other's space, violating the space.
Oh yeah, I
get combative.
Yes,
so I can. I can.
I just rather walk away.
I can.
Yeah, walk away. Just let me just walk away and just.
I can, yes, but I can.
But it solves nothing.
No. And that's my whole point. Why go through all of that when you can just try to find a better way digress? They tell you redirect, walk away, calm down, come back, and try it again.
I've learned in this marriage. Husband and wife knows each other's triggers.
True.
And when husband and wife
pressure points,
that too
to push.
Yes.
She said that's why I don't argue because I'm not responsible for my hands.
But
fight responsibly.
What? No, you're supposed to fight.
No, but I'm saying
like it's a good way to do it.
No, don't
I'm
fight
saying
I'm
talking about argue, not like laying hands.
Yeah, I'm not laying hands.
Not laying hands.
She's way stronger than me. But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? It's just like husband knows, and I know pressure points, as they say, or trigger points. They're like, I'm gonna get you, and then
hit below the belt. But
yeah,
you do.
I can't.
And you can't take those words.
You cannot, because that's coming
take
from the heart.
So obviously, if you put it out in the atmosphere, it's how you felt from the beginning.
Exactly.
Anyway,
you should never do that.
Tina said, "But I talk with my hands."
No, it's not good, honey.
Crazy.
My mama
I talk with my hands too.
She does. I'm gonna tell you what my mama told us.
I can talk with my hands.
Just like if he put a hand on you. You know,
or if they stand up, like
wait a minute,
feel threatened.
But I'm saying it goes vice versa. You know what I'm saying? We can't put our hands on it because you're gonna get locked up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to get locked up.
In my
She
first
said,
marriage,
I'm laying hands and he knows this.
In my first marriage, that's what I did. I got like that.
But see, I'm just saying, husband knows pressure points. And I know pressure points. And it's not good. It's really not good. That's why I said power struggle.
It solves nothing.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Y'all should be able to communicate. I mean, especially
it's
at this stage in life. You should be able to communicate effectively without having a power
to yell. And like within the role, because you're emasculating them as a manhood, especially if you calling them out their names and all that type of stuff.
Well, then as Mr. Dennis said, we're attacking their pride.
Yes.
And it's not that they're hurt, but we're attacking. And you know what else I'm finding out?
No, because I mean, you got to think you're going to lay back down with this man.
You know what else I'm finding out?
And they're going to take all that you and process all that
disrespect.
Just like you are.
Disrespect. I find out when you disrespect a brother, oh, it's all. That's it. Like, it is dealing with the pride too. So I'm like, you know, but I feel like this, vice versa. Don't disrespect me. I won't disrespect you. I feel like this. You know what I'm saying? If you know you gotta go
be a tit and tat.
Why? What do you mean? So you shouldn't? A man shouldn't come home and talk to your woman if you just like you any old kind of way,
right?
Just like you just said.
Factor.
Just
you
like
learn
you just
how to communicate, like Mr.
Don't go and nag him and do all of that and stuff. I learned how to like step back and chill without my nagging, because like you said, the home is his safe haven. Exactly. He don't want to hear all that.
And it goes,
but then don't come after me like
but
that.
But it goes back to what I say. It's not about what you say.
It's how you say it.
So that's why I think people get upset with me and call me nice nasties, because I'm going to still say what I have to say, but I'm going to say it in a pleasant way.
That's what they say to me. It's how I say it.
In the Bible, it already tells us. And I'm just going to go to the word.
I don't know why you think you hear that.
Whenever we talk to people or engage with people, we should do it with grace.
And you do it with grace?
Do it with grace. Why sit there and yell at them? What am I yelling? What am I like? I'm not saying I don't get upset. Let's be real.
Kenny Jones at?
I don't like.
I never tried my husband, but that black baby daddy of mine. Oh, we're going blood for blood.
Tina, girl, you still got some healing. She's about this.
Tina.
Oh God, Tina. But I'm just saying, and I've experienced, like, if you know somebody is actually going to trigger you, to me, you giving them power too. Like, I feel like,
which one card said nobody touch nobody and nobody's kids, right? You shouldn't be touching no kids.
Ain't nobody's kids. Yeah, you shouldn't be looked or viewed at as a child. So that's
how I feel. That's what I'm saying. When the way the tone and the things is coming out your mouth
that you use.
Yes. My perception.
So what do you say to him? You don't gotta talk to me like that. Or do you like, babe?
I know it's coming the first time. You don't talk to me like that.
Like I'm not talking to you like that.
At work.
Please don't talk to me.
Please do not bring it.
Don't
bring it home. You're home. I did nothing to you.
Sometimes it does work. Sometimes I have to just shut up. I have to be in silent mode, and then he'll come back and apologize. And then I will have to do the same thing, because now we're to the point in our lives that he feels like, oh, you're attacking me. And then I feel the same way, you're attacking me. And it's not that I'm attacking. It's just that my perception and your perception is totally different.
And it's good to have a difference that's another thing. Respect the opinions of each other within that relationship. I might not always agree with your view or perspective on the matter.
Agree.
And the thing is, we get upset because, they don't think the same way that I think. But we can agree to disagree. It's the delivery and take the bass out.
Right. Well, mine ain't bass. He goes up an octave. It's like,
I think all men do.
They go up a whole octave. Like, wait a minute.
I got to prove it.
Hold up.
Yes. Sometimes some of the antics and the characteristics of which you do, you might not want to be labeled as acting child or being a child, but you acting childish. But that's another topic for another day. But I'm just saying, within those roles, I think a lot of things can be alleviated and cut down if we learn how to communicate. And actually, that's really the most thing. Like,
it is.
Wherever you communicate what your goal is, who's going to be doing what, the reciprocation, what you're looking for, then you don't have all these high expectations in your mind expecting women.
Like I said, sometimes the women, it didn't mean to cut you off, hold that thought. Sometimes women's their perspective, their ideas, their goals change once they have the children.
I'm talking right about you.
You know what I mean? So they're going to want to go back. If they had their college education, they have the degree, they're going to want to use it once the children get a little older. And sometimes the men don't know how to accept that because they're so used to being in that role.
And they expect us to be more the emotional, the more nurturers, because again, it goes back to that gender stereotype.
Well, he says that. He already knows that.
They want us to be more
Mr.
like
Morris
emotional.
Said a woman is supposed to be more wittier in the mind. So she always can get her point across when she's not acting if she's carrying a
testosterone. So in other words, you're trying to say a woman should be more wittier to know to execute what they're trying to say without being mannish. Is that what you're trying to say in a nutshell? But I mean,
I really do believe that we can. I think we have so many sides to us.
We do.
You're making us sound like we simple.
Because we can
crazy.
Well, my husband said it. He's like, who are you today?
A bunch of symbols.
Sometimes it's just the wind.
My husband told me
it blows, and we just like, okay, well, you know what? He ain't getting no dinner tonight. I don't even feel like cooking anything. Like sometimes it's just we just have those, especially when you get older. I mean, realizing
your ways.
Like
we both set, so it's just
he gonna come home on a Friday or Thursday, and be like, where's dinner? You better order it. You know what I mean? It's gonna get like that sometimes.
But if you communicate
if you be like, babe, I'm just not in the mood
tonight. There we go. Today. Or let Friday be a day where you don't cook or something like that. Like everybody has an understanding. Because I got mad. I'll tell you, there was one incident. I cooked a whole meal. And it went back to that was around how I came up in the movie. Cooked a whole meal. And these Negroes went out and got a whole pizza, burgers, fries. And I'm slaving in the kitchen and cooked the whole meal. Y'all coming in with pizza boxes, burger, you went to McDonald's and all that. That's like a slap in the face. But if you used that
Tina
takes
said
me
no
off.
Dinner, no booty or weekend.
Y'all graceful when using it. Y'all graceful when
we can hurt y'all. Right. Oh yeah.
No dinner, no booty, no weed. Y'all. Yes. That's why they say a lot of times the women do have
let me say this.
More power than what we
And I used to do this as a defense mechanism to win whatever I wanted.
Tell your truth.
Yes. This is the last marriage. To get anything I wanted, and that was to withhold the Twyla, the pearls, the gems.
Oh, we talked about that. This is going right up Mr. Jones's alley because we just talked about this not too long ago. Like we shouldn't. You actually use. Well, in the Bible, we're not actually supposed to do it unless we're fasting.
Wait a minute. Let's rewind this. It's in the relationship. That's a marriage.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm in a marriage.
Okay, so in the marriage, women, let me put this out there.
Put the disclaimer out there.
You cannot deny your husband unless you're on your cycle or you're fasting.
Yeah,
exactly.
He said, "Hell to the no."
What is that?
He said, "Hell has no fury," is what a woman can be compared to. I challenge that. The what? And the scripture is now saying, how is she when treated right? What I wonder. I'm not know if I'm reading that right, but
okay. The power of the exactly.
I challenge the what? And the scripture is not saying how is she when treated right? What I wonder. The power of the yes. I like the way you think, Avis.
My husband do too.
It has a lot of power.
I can send you home with it.
I said it. My husband
has a lot of power. It's Jews, honey.
My husband says the same thing.
I like abuse,
but I have to look. I have to change. I have to change.
Yeah, because you can't hold back.
No, in a marriage, I can't.
But you did.
Yes, I did.
Tina busted out laughing.
She did.
I did.
She did.
I did.
I think we all have done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna be lying about it. I did it too.
I have a question. How do you feel I should react when it comes to What she say?
Yeah, it wasn't right.
Real
it wasn't
man
right.
who has a job but play video games because I hate it and I love reacting. Please help me.
She said keep it PG. I will.
You is crazy.
I will.
I have a question. How do you all feel I should react when it comes to a 41-year-old man who has a job but plays video games? Because I hate it and I love I'm overreacting. Please help me.
Okay.
Expressing him that you want more time because that's all he doing is playing video games.
She knows about this.
I know. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh yes, let me be quiet.
Tanisha, he's a hardcore gamer.
Hardcore gamer.
Now I understand
every day.
Like, but I'm gonna tell you this. Tanisha, he does provide. He will work. He will get out and work, but he's a gamer, and I'm to the point where he was trying to convert me to play games.
See, that's what Tina's saying. Play with him.
Yeah, no. He tried. He tried it. He did.
Every now and then it is good.
I'm gonna tell you what I will do. I will go out there sometime, from time to time, when I feel like it, when I want to be a loving wife. I will sit out there and look at his games.
I'm done.
Yes, I will go out there and sit. Like, he even tried to convert me to play Tanisha. I was playing Legos. I was on the PS playing the Legos. I was in my own world. He would buy the games for me. Games ain't cheap. But then it was just like, no, not for me. But just like, I was trying to convert him as well, like to go to church with me. And he has anxiety. People like that, if he's a hardcore gamer, that's their world. That's what their expression.
Their coping mechanism.
That's how they cope.
They might, yeah.
I'm sorry, Tanisha. This is what I had to deal with.
But there should be a communication.
13 years in a marriage.
But it should still be a communication with time, because the same way you're sacrificing for him, he should be willing to sacrifice and do something that you like as well.
For real, I agree.
But reciprocation.
Hold up.
Compromise.
I will say this: mental health is very real.
And
so having anxiety, going out, is very real.
And that's
so he's going to have to seek help on how to transition
and to being comfortable and going out
around people,
society, without being
because we're
in open spaces with a crowd. That has to. I mean, you can't say, "Oh, well, he's not willing to do this or willing to do that." Like if he has a real anxiety.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
You cannot say that he had not traveled with you to church.
I'm not going to say that.
On several occasions.
Even we took a birthday celebration, but his thing is, once you take him, it's like a fish out of water.
Out of his environment.
Take him out of his environment. He was like, "What the hell?" He'll go.
Anxiety sets in.
It's just like
he's anxious.
That's a very real anxiety.
Very real. And then he just told me when we got into one of the heated arguments, like, don't throw it in his face. I try not to throw it in his face, but then don't get mad with me because I'm a people person. I like going. Don't get mad with me because I like to go. Like, so we have to come to some compromise, and you know what I'm saying? So Tanisha, really, I'm so seriously, I'm trying to tell you, yes, I'm telling you, if he's a gamer, even if he gets a job, he's gonna come home and get on a game.
That's his way of, like I said, coping, relaxing, unwinding. Yes,
he's unwinding, and I let him do it because I had to see it for myself. So now I don't argue with him as much. Like, even on the weekend, you know, there's times.
As long as he factor in time, like if y'all agree, like this is a time set for this, that, and again, back to communicating. This is what I'm expecting, or what I would like. Then
he was social distancing before it was mandated. I agree, honey. And he just yes, because he don't like doing family gatherings. And family gatherings is just like, no, you know what I'm saying? And it's like an intimate family gathering for us. And Tanisha, you already know how our family gatherings are. He don't even want to do that. He's just like, I'll get on the game. And I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's like a tug of war sometimes with us. And I'm trying to cope because, like she just said, dealing, and then he'll go, there's a lot of gamers out there. there are a lot of gamers. There are a lot of women gamers out there. They really are gamers out there. It's
just not you.
Yeah, I'm not that. I'm we're like yin and yang. I'm people person, so he's introvert,
extrovert.
Yeah. So
but I can be both actually at times. Yes, I'm more definitely.
She's more of an extrovert.
I'm an extrovert, but I can be.
I do know the game. If he gets a job,
I'm an introvert. I can be. I'm a very much introvert, but I can be extrovert. Like I can be friendly. I'm very much.
She's an extrovert.
When I'm out and about, I'm very friendly.
She networks.
Yes.
At church.
But
only
after that, I'm not going on that level with y'all guys. Like
she said he doesn't have anxiety. He just plays to piss me off.
Oh, well, then that's a whole nother dynamic there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, gamers. He might be just a hardcore gamer. Like you might have to accept if he's a hardcore gamer.
And if that's a way for him to calm down before y'all get into or anything gets escalated, that's a good thing. Because then that means he's going to respect trying not to get
I wouldn't lead you wrong. I'm telling you, it just might be he just, and like, Tina said, you might have to play with him or sit there and do his world. But then y'all have to talk and communicate. Like, if I'm doing this, then you need to come on and like come out with me. I feel that it should be some compromise. Because he has, in the 13 years, he has compromise. I can say that. He has tried.
Yes.
He has.
But we just like to say we thank y'all guys for joining us on this evening as we wrapping up talking about the gender roles within a relationship. The thing is, please just be mindful of one another, what your wishes are, expectations are, communicate it. It's not to sit here and try to make one feel like they have more power than the other. It should be of equality. It should be of equalness. It should be of togetherness. Yes, we are his helpmate. So we meet each other in the middle and find a compromise to be able to do whatever is necessary to make the home function properly. You're still going to have good days and bad days. So let's be real.
Every family function because he ain't passing up no plate.
Where mom feeds him every chance she gets.
Girl, you ain't right.
You're crazy. But yes, we do
use that as a starting point, sis.
Right.
Yeah. And just work your way from there.
Exactly. But thank you for joining us.
Hard.
Y'all final thoughts? Because I gave mine.
I'm done.
You done?
Yeah.
Done. So we'll see y'all guys on next week. Thank you for joining us. Keep in mind once more and again, click on the link as well on the YouTube channel. Subscribe and share. See y'all guys next week. Have a good night.